Hello everyone, welcome back to Bits and Bob's Divination. My name is Caitlin, and today we're going to be diving into the energy, insights, and guidance, as well as biggest blessings and Libra season messages coming through for you for the month of October. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Alright, so welcome back my beautiful kindred spirits and anyone new who may be joining us here today for this spooky, fun October month. I'm very excited. I always feel so excited about the month of October because it is the spookiest, the fun, creative time that it is. But we're going to see what's coming in for you and what is coming in for not only your blessings and not only the biggest insights, but also your Libra season messages. So we will be looking at each of these three piles here in a second, but if you are new, do feel free to subscribe. And also, if you've been here for a while and you'd like to support this space even more, do feel free to check out all the different ways in which you can do that throughout the month if you're interested in handmade magical spell and ritual paper goods, as well as the snail mail readings that I put out for private readings. So all of that will be listed down below alongside the Kindred tip jar and my Instagram community, where you can see all of this in much more length. And yeah, let's go ahead and look at these piles. So for each of the piles here today, I wanted to go with a very natural element for each of them. So for this one, we have a curled up and beautiful little dried oak leaf. Looking like this. It's got such beautiful color, this silvery edge to it. And it kind of looks like a little boat. So that is pile number one. For pile number two here, we have this piece of wood that I found in a river nearby, and it kind of always looks like an eye to me. So that is pile number two. And last but not least, here is pile number three with this orange slice. So that is pile number three. So as always, before you start heading off to your piles and the timestamps, I'd just like to give you a little moment here to really connect with yourself, your spirit, your soul, and to connect with the piles and seek out which one is really calling to you best by taking a deep cleansing breath here. So let's go ahead and take that deep breath together here now. And as always, there's no right or wrong way to choose your piles. You can choose all of them, you can flip-flop between them, you can play around however you wish, but all of the timestamps will be down below in the description alongside the chapter marks of this video. And as I mentioned, if you're interested in supporting this space even more, all of the information on that will be down below for the Kindred tip jar, for the snail mail readings that I do for private readings, and the handmade magical spell and ritual paper goods. You can check all of that out not only down below but also on my Instagram community, which I am very active on every single day, and I have met so many of you there. So do feel free to check that all out down below. And we're going to go ahead and get started here with pile number one. Hello group one, if you've decided to choose this curled up oak leaf, then this is the pile for you. I'm going to set it down right here for you so you can see it during your reading here today, as we are going to be looking into your spooky season messages for October using the charms, the watercolor affirmations. We're also going to be diving into two different tarot decks today, with the Everyday Witch Tarot and the handmade tarot deck that my sister made for me called the Star Sisters Tarot. And we're also going to be using a couple different oracle decks, and I'll have all of this listed in the description down below so you can follow along or check those out if you're interested. But as I mentioned, this is going to be a spooky one, but not like super spooky, right? We're just going to see what's coming up here for this spooky season of October for you, for the energy, for your biggest blessing, your Libra season messages. We're going to be looking into the balance of those, so what to embrace and to kind of release during this season. And then also for the month, we're going to look into a relationship message. So we have a lot we're going to dive into. So as always, feel free to get settled, grab something to eat, something to get cozy with. Personally, I'm feeling the orange of the season. So sweater weather, here we are. But let's go ahead and get right into it. So for you here, group number 1, feel free to send your energy in through time and space, and we're going to look into the 3 main cards to showcase the main energies coming through for you for the month of October. So, group 1, what do you have coming up for October? October for group 1. Okay, so first off, right off the bat, talking about Libra season, we have a balancing, harmonizing card with the 6 of Pentacles. The 6 of Pentacles has a lot to do with reciprocity, giving back the same amount that you give, and kind of just like that equal balance of give and take. So we're going to see how that shows up with your other cards, but there is something about balance within your relationships is what I'm getting the most, but it can be just like work-life balance or balance in other ways. So let's see how those other aspects are coming in for you for the month of October. Group 1, the month of October, group 1. Ooh. Got one literally bouncing off the edge. First off, we have the Knight of Pentacles, very resourceful, very not like a go-getter energy in the same way as some of the other knights are, where they're very like quick-witted or very fast and bold. This knight takes their time, and they're very, like I said, resourceful. They're very much like they use the resources already available to them. So there is something, like I said, that give and take. So it might also just be that's reminding yourself that you already have enough now, or that you don't need excess, is what I'm getting. And then we have the Lovers. Very beautiful card to be getting as well. I love this one with all the smoke and this spiritual kind of feeling coming in through it, and the cute little kitties at the bottom. But it also has the number 6. So we have 6, 6, and then the Knight of Pentacles here. So there is a lot to do with harmony. There's a lot to do with balance. Not surprising. Like I said, we're in Libra season. They are literally represented as the scales. So it definitely makes sense. But the things that are coming into balance, let's talk about that. So like I said, we have the idea of reciprocity. So there is this feeling of just in general, the people in your life, there is something about like maybe giving back to them if they've been giving a lot to you lately in their time, in their energy, if they've been maybe really like say you were moving and they did this big favor for you. Maybe it's just giving back in some way, offering them something in some way, or showcasing your gratitude in some way to make sure it's been acknowledged that they did a favor for you, or vice versa, that someone else might be giving something back to you that maybe you weren't expecting, or you weren't like trying to do this thing to get something back. You know what I mean? It wasn't like that. It's just that there is an acknowledgement that might be coming in over the month, and that might be just really nice and warm and something to take notice of, especially since we have the Lovers. The Lovers has a lot to do with teamwork. It has a lot to do with also kind of diving back into what makes you fall in love in life, not necessarily with people, but just like maybe the weather or the foods that you're eating or the places that you're going, just making sure that they really feel intentionally from a place of love or passion or excitement for life is coming through with this. So there is like, that's almost an advice message and just a reminder to you to seek out those sorts of things that really give you love in life, because it's really easy to get lost in the hustle and bustle of everything, of what other people might need from you or from the things that you're trying to get done, and just slowing down, smelling the roses, smelling the beautiful atmosphere of your season and your time. Personally for me, that's nature, but it could be other things for you. And then, like I said, with that Knight of Pentacles, there's this resourcefulness coming through. So it also can be that you might be getting really thrifty this month. Maybe you're going to go to thrift shops. Maybe you're going to really take some time to notice the resources you already have available to you. So maybe you're feeling kind of like stagnant in your home, or your energy feels really just kind of meh, and it just, nothing's moving and things feel kind of slowing down, or the season's speeding up and you just need that time to kind of like get all of your ducks in order. This is the time to do that. This is the month to do that. So either doing some sort of spring or fall cleaning, or you could also be sort of just looking around your house and realizing the things that maybe you could just like move the couch over here, or reorganize, or change that over there. There could be something that could be more useful and helpful to you to bring the resources in your house and in your space together. This can also be unclouding things in your mind as well. So like what I like to do when I feel like maybe there's just a lot going on in my mind and I need to sort of organize and plan it all out like this knight would do, with their like tools in their mind, is I do a brain dump. So I'll take a piece of paper and I will literally just dump everything that's going on in my brain, remembering this appointment, remembering that meeting, remembering this thing I'm working on, remembering when I'm filming, blah blah blah, whatever that is for you. Just getting it all on paper can be so simple but exponentially useful. So that's what I have coming in for you for your main energies. But I do want to look further as always, and we actually have a new deck to play with. I've been so excited for this one. I've been wanting to get my hands on it for a while, but it like sold out and I couldn't get it. So here it is. This is the Woodland Warden's Oracle, and it has both an herb and a specific warden of the woods coming through for you. So we're going to see what this is for you for the biggest blessing coming through. And as always with these readings, this can be a blessing in the way that you see that from spirit, or it can just be that this is an energy that's on your side this month. This is something that you could use as a tool this month, something to sort of use as like brain food for the month, whatever you want to do. But that's what we're going to see coming through for you. So which woodland wardens are coming forward as a blessing for you this month? So we have the Frog and the Lotus Metamorphosis. So interestingly, this is actually the number 6. So as you can see with the Roman numerals up here, it is the number 6. So we have 666 going up on here. If that is weird superstitiously for you, don't worry. Usually I see 666 as being a message of just like an intense amount of balance, an intense amount of harmony, things coming back into harmony. And the reason why it is, and it usually is like, we think of like the devil or the devil card whenever we see that, is the idea that things that are coming into harmony are making sure that the things that are kind of toxic to you, or you would see as the devil things in your life, are just sort of sorting themselves out. And that's why I'm really feeling called to that night for you, and that being maybe your metamorphosis, and just sort of your house kind of going through its own metamorphosis, and you going through your own sort of metamorphosis. But because this is a new deck, I wanted to go ahead and read on the card real quick, because it's not a very long entry. So feel free to pause if you'd like to read it yourself or look, and I'm going to go ahead and read it for you though. So here we are, Metamorphosis. This card reminds us that change is natural, rebirth is possible, and healing balance can be achieved. See, more of that balancing message. The frog developing as it does from a tiny tadpole. Sorry about my voice, it's very croaky today, very in line with this. I'm recovering from a cold. Anyway, it says the frog developing as it does from a tiny tadpole symbolizes transformation. The lotus flower too symbolizes rebirth, unfurling even amid murky waters. Going through such a change can be difficult and a struggle, but the resulting metamorphosis opens us up to growth, self-acceptance, and happiness. So for this being upright, which is how I'm seeing it for you, consider what in your life needs changing, and think about the steps you can take to achieve that change. You owe it to yourself to allow your own growth and rebirth. And that is what I was seeing for you. The journal prompts that they have here as well are, what can I change in myself or my life for the better, and how can I be more accepting of change I cannot control? So that's another great way to think about this too, right? That there might be change in your life that you can't control right now. There might be things that are just kind of outside of your control, and that's why maybe other people can come in and step in to be helpful and be that blessing in your life, and as a tool in your tool belt. But metamorphosis is what you have showing up here with the frog. I'm sure it'll come up even more, but I feel like we've already talked a lot about the idea of changing things up, so I don't want to just sort of stick to it too long, but that is a lovely blessing to have coming in. So we're going to take a small second here before we move to your Libra messages to look at the relationship card. So I pull these every single month for a card to have just something to chew on and munch on what it is that you're maybe getting advised from spirit for your relationships right now. So this could be any relationship relationship with yourself, with spirit, with a platonic, romantic, or familial relationship in your life. So feel free to send that relationship in, or just in general. We'll see what comes up for you. But let's see the collective message here coming in for group 1, for a message and of advice, an idea to think about within their relationships this month for group 1. Ooh, red rose, courage, be brave, be strong, believe. We have the red rose, very much a romantic vibe, but that also can just be outside of like romance and like kind of getting the courage to maybe speak up to someone, or the courage to show gratitude or your love for someone, especially since we have the lover showing up here, although it's not always a romantic card. But if you're feeling that, it can also be just that you're having the courage to maybe state your feelings, or having the courage to change up the relationship. Maybe it's always been sort of a friendship or something where it's always been kind of like the same level dynamic. That might be changing for you and metamorphosizing. But for others, it can also just be that you might have someone in your life right now that you have something you need to say to them, something you want to acknowledge in them, or something else that just needs to be said. And maybe you've been trying to work up the courage to talk to them, or work up the courage to speak to someone who you've always wanted to meet. I don't know. There's something about wanting to be more courageous, or wanting to be just a little bit more bold in the relationship. So that's what we have showing up here for the relationships going on for you. But we're going to look into your Libra messages now. And for this one, like I said, we're going to be using the tarot deck that my little sister made for me, and I love it so much. It's very hodgepodge in the best possible way. So for this, we're going to be pulling one card to look into what it is that you are going to be releasing for the month ahead, for Libra season. And we're also going to be looking into, for Libra season, what it is that you are going to be embracing. So now that you've made room for it, what will you be embracing? So what first are you going to be releasing? Something that is an energy that just is sticking on you for Libra season and isn't creating balance for you anymore. So interestingly, you got the Star, but you got it kind of upside down. I don't typically read reversals, but instead I just like to see the shadow side of the card, or looking at it from a different perspective. I'm kind of flipping it on its head. So here you have the Star. The Star usually follows after like the big tower moment, the big death moments, those sorts of things in the deck. So this is usually coming after a very heavy month. Maybe you've just come out of a heavy month or something. But the idea that this is coming up the way that it did is making me think that what would be more balancing for you this month is maybe in a weird way kind of embracing what the Star is trying to give you, and releasing the idea that the Star can't be for you. Right? So I feel like there's almost a block over it, and that's what you're releasing, is the block, not necessarily that you can't have hope, that you can't have hope for the future, hope that you could do these things with someone, or hope that things might work out with someone, or hope that, you know, someone is going to step up their game and maybe help you out too. There is this idea of hope, there is this idea of guidance as well, and maybe you had sort of a spiritual block maybe this last month or something, and that might be coming back into balance. But like I said, whatever you've been feeling a big block on, creatively, spiritually, romantically, whatever it is, I feel like that block is lifting because you're embracing that there can be hope there, that there can be potential there. So let's see what it is that you're also embracing this month for Libra season. So group 1, what do you have coming in for Libra season that you are embracing? So we have the 9 of Wands. The 9 of Wands usually has a very sort of sheltered off, again, blocked feeling. Whenever you see this card, it tends to showcase a bunch of it's almost you're almost feeling inspired to block yourself off so you can have almost maybe some reprieve or some time to yourself, or you have your own space. But sometimes that also means that we can't have the opportunities and things on the other side of the wall. And so I feel like for you, what's metamorphosizing, what's coming back into balance, is maybe trusting other people, trusting other places. There's this idea of trust that's coming through with the 9 of Wands for you, and maybe having the courage to go to places or to speak to someone or to say the things that you've always wanted to say. And that comes with needing to trust yourself as well as trusting others with that information. So that's what I'm seeing here, this hope and trust as things to embrace over Libra season. So we are going to pull you a quick little watercolor affirmation, and then we will finish with the advice from the charms for the month, spreading those on top of the cards here. But if you have been enjoying this reading so far, it would be so useful and so helpful to this channel and its growth if you could give this video a like. I really do appreciate it. Also, let me know in the comments down below how it resonated for you. I always love hearing how things go, and if you have ideas for videos you'd like to see throughout this spooky month, I would love to hear. In the past, I've done a lot of videos on your spiritual gifts and your magical gifts and things like that around this month. So if that's something you'd like to see again, let me know. But if you want to see like some more advanced magic things or other kind of stuff on this channel, as I know a lot of you tend to maybe have already watched those, then do let me know. But anyway, rambling aside, let's go ahead and see your affirmation for the month. So group 1, what affirmation is coming through for group 1? All right, this one kept sticking around. Oh my goodness, of course, you got refresh your space. I swear there's nothing really else we need to say here, is there? There's just a heavy feeling of refreshing your space, cleaning up your space, getting your ducks in order, and that is really important for you this month, and sometimes it's as simple as that. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and just leave that there, and we're going to go ahead and get those final little bits and bobs details with the charms. So feel free to send your energy in through time and space, and we'll see for your last little messages here for the month of October, group 1. Okay, not as many as I thought there would be with how much was in my hands, but we're gonna go ahead and zoom in so you can actually see a little bit more here. So immediately I was pulled to this number 4 and showing up in your tool belt. And so since we have so much of this 6 energy of kind of moving away from being on the defense and sort of moving into trust and hope, the idea that you have the 4 on its side is telling me that idea of blocking yourself off, which the 4 really represents, is structures, rules, is boundaries, and having that tip onto its side is telling me that it's not in your tool belt. It's not that you can't have boundaries and things, but you can lower those a little bit, that they can fall a little bit less at the top of your tool belt, less like easily accessible. So that's what's coming through with that. We also have more tools, which I find interesting, especially since there's a little hammer that almost reflects exactly the one in the tool belt over here. We had that falling near the lotus, and the lotus, as you remember, had less to do with metamorphosis in the same way that the frog does, but more so that it has to go through all these murky waters to come all the way up. And so what does that mean for you and your tools? And maybe it's just that, like, this process of having to go all the way through the waters, of having to go through all the stuff in your house, all through the cobwebs that have been growing in your mind. Those sorts of things can be such a useful tool to you, even if it seems kind of like a mundane thing to do, or just sort of like murky waters, right? You don't want to do that grimy stuff and go through all of it, but there's going to be a lot of worth at the end of it. We also have more of that kind of gift giving, receiving gifts in some way, and maybe it's just that going through this whole process is a gift to yourself, because we do have the little charm showcasing, like, I always see this as like handmade mittens that someone made for someone, right? Someone put a lot of work and time and effort to gift you something this month, and maybe that's a gift from spirit, maybe that's a gift from someone else who you have been helping out a lot lately, or you want to gift something to someone, but that's coming through. And then we also have on this little lily pad the Leo season message. So it could be that something that happened that felt heavy around this star kind of energy, or just in general that you felt heaviness, that things weren't moving or clouded, that feeling. It could have been coming from something that happened in Leo season, or from someone who is a Leo in your life, and maybe it was just really busy or something else, but that's coming through as a little bit of clarification. And then the last two charms you have the lobster claw charm in this little golden copper tone. And whenever I see this, it just means it's an attachment, or someone sort of attaching to you, kind of clawing on to you. But it can also just be that you're really attaching to someone, attaching to life. Like I said, there was that romantic kind of thread. So it could be just that you're feeling closer to someone, a relationship in your life, because of the courage that you've maybe taken that step. But that's coming through. And then here on the star, you have the patterns charm. So whenever I see this, it represents patterns that continue in your life. You have an ebb and flow, a pattern that's continuing for you. And so maybe this isn't the first time you kind of closed your off the idea of hope, and maybe the reason why you might be opening up to trust and things is because of the other people there for you, or because you're starting to enjoy a little bit of life again. And I really love that for you. So that is those are all of the charms. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and zoom you out so you can see it all a little bit better, but those are all of the charms here for you, group 1. I do hope you enjoyed this reading and were enjoying the messages despite my voice being quite croaky. I do hope you enjoyed the new deck. I'd love to hear your thoughts, as always, about different video ideas and things you'd like to see as I do these for you guys. And so I want to make things that you're gonna really enjoy. And if they aren't always specifically readings, if you'd like to see more of my magical practice, look through the charms, or you'd like to see other fun things on this channel, do let me know. Doesn't mean I'll get to them necessarily, but I do always appreciate the feedback. And also, if you would like to subscribe to the channel, maybe this is one of your first videos, then definitely be sure and feel free to subscribe to this Kindred space. I'd love to have you here each week as I put out new videos every Monday. And you can also check out, as always, the Kindred tip jar down below if that's something that you feel called to. It all goes right back into the channel for different decks and supplies. And you can also check out the other ways to support this space and yourself through the snail mail readings that I do, and also through the handmade spell and ritual papers, which I'll have all listed down below as well. So thank you so much for joining me here, and also just, showing up for yourself, as that's really important through these readings. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hello, group 2. If you've decided to choose this beautiful piece of bark with this eye shape, then this is the pile for you. I'm going to go ahead and set it down right here so you can see it throughout the reading. As we are going into this spooky month, I'm very excited. We're going to be looking into the charms as well as 2 different oracle decks here today, and I'll have those listed down below alongside the 2 different tarot decks. So we're going to be using the Everyday Witch Tarot as well as the handmade tarot deck that my little sister made for me a few years back, and I absolutely love. We're also going to be using the watercolor affirmations. So as I mentioned, all of this will be listed down below in the description, so you can see everything down there. But we're going to go ahead and get started. This is going to be one where we're going to look into not only the monthly energies, but also a blessing, relationships card. We're also going to be looking into cards to showcase the things that you're both releasing and embracing moving into Libra season, as it's all about that balance. So with that in mind, feel free to get settled, get cozy. I'm personally wearing a very cozy sweater because it's sweater season, and I hope you guys are getting cozy as well. And we're going to go ahead and dive right in. So feel free to send your energy in through time and space, and we'll get started here. So group 2, what do you have coming in here, group 2, for the next month, for this month of October? What do you have coming in for October, for those main energies that are shifting and changing around you? What is coming through? What is coming through? I feel like there's a card that's being really stubborn right now. I don't know if you guys read at all, if you know that feeling. there's just sort of a stubborn card. So we have the King of Cups. I had a weird feeling that this one would pop out today, this King of Cups energy, especially since it's got like this breezy, cloudy energy that's coming in, and it's making me think of like how Libras can be very like charismatic, and I feel this charismatic feeling coming from you. Like you're gonna be, if you're not very charismatic already, then that's gonna be coming through in you. You might be finding yourself wanting to communicate to other people, talk a little bit more outside of your comfort zone, that kind of thing. But others, it might just be that that's feeling very boisterous and loud and exciting in your voice and the people that you're meeting. But I want to see a little bit more. Of course, I get that one out, and then they just start flying out. We also have another cup card, so we have the Knight of Cups as well. That's maybe why I was getting this feeling that like some of you maybe see yourself as very introverted. You kind of stay in, you kind of stick to your own crowd. I see you maybe branching out, or at least checking out other types of communities, other types of places of communication in that way that kind of really excite you. But I want to see a little bit more. I want to look a little further, as always. Goodness, we've got two more. So we're going to see what that is. We have a lot of cards with the quartz. So we also have the Knight of Wands. So we have the Knight of Cups and the Knight of Wands in your corner. And then we also have the Two of Cups. Interesting. So like I said, this is a social month for you guys. If you aren't a social butterfly, then this might just be something to keep in mind and maybe you weren't aware of, but you're definitely going into a social month, or at least if it's not in person, it can also be online, that you might be just socializing with a lot more people, kind of opening up your circle of people, meeting new people, something like that. And or just sort of opening up your scope. Like I felt really called to this sort of, what are these called? Spyglasses, I think. And the idea that they are sort of looking out and kind of opening their view, or being more pointed with it, right? You can also, not only does it kind of broaden your view, but it also can narrow and focus your view. So it could also be that you're starting to focus on something else. And the things that you might be focusing on outside of this socialization is just that you are possibly broadening your waters within creativity, as the King of Cups can be very creative. They're very open to like going to concerts and going to plays and things like that. They're very interested in sort of also kind of, what am I trying to say? Being like a patron of the arts, if that makes sense. So there could be like indie artists or music or places that you're going to be supporting as well this month that I feel might be coming through, like going to those sorts of events. And if it's not that, then it could just be that you're also helping out small businesses in some way. I see that as also something that you might be doing and focusing in on. Outside of that though, like I said, there's that social element, and there's also this element of, and more broadening your waters also, right? We have a whole map over here, but there is this feeling of a lot of love energy too. So for those of you who are maybe already in a relationship, this can just be that you're really feeling lovey-dovey with someone, very connected with someone. If you're not interested in romantic relationships, this can be with friendships, this can be with your family members, that you're just reconnecting with them in some way. But there's this like infatuation, there is this really deep connection, this playfulness as well that's coming through with these two cards, and being more playful and open in a romantic way or in a platonic way with someone. So we're definitely going to see a little bit more information as we go, as always, but I don't want to stick too much on these, especially since you had 4 cards and I could go on for ages. We're going to go ahead and move on to your next card, and this one, as always, is going to be the blessing card. So this is not always necessarily a blessing. This can not that it's not a blessing, but some of you might see this as like the biggest energy coming through that's going to be most useful in like your tools of energy for the month. It can be a blessing from spirit. You could see it as something that's coming through as like an energy just like that's totally on your side this month. However you see, it's usually a very positive message though, or a transformative one. I am excited though, because we're going to be using a new deck. So this is the Woodland Wardens Oracle. I haven't used it here yet, and I'm so excited. So let's see what you guys get. Which Woodland Wardens are coming through for group 2 here? So you have the Owl and Hop. So we have both the owl and then the plant here of the hop. So this is saying wisdom. And because this is a new deck, and it's still quite new to me, I really want to play around with the guidebook a little bit because I know some of you have been really enjoying that here on this channel. So the number that we have here for the owl and hop is 22. So let's go ahead and read on it here. So feel free to pause if you'd like, but I'm going to go ahead and read it as well. So it says here, wisdom. Owls are closely associated with Athena, the Greek goddess of wisdom. Known for their nocturnal vision, owls represent knowledge and erudition. I'm not sure what that word is, with a hint of mystery. The hop is an impressive plant, able to climb up to 20 feet in a single growing season. Combined with the pair, indicates spiritual and intellectual fulfillment. So upright, you have, it says here, you have come to the end of a long journey. Relish in your achievements, taking deep and satisfying breaths. And for some of you, you might be feeling the reverse, so I'll mention it as well. You may be burdened by feelings of regret or a lack of fulfillment. Reflect on your past successes and think practically about your current goals. Even towering hop vine, climb one small step at a time. So it says, am I content? If I reached a state of fulfillment, am I willing to humble myself to try something new? So there could be, like, when we have this king energy showcases usually being at the top of your game, and the Knight of Cups showcases that you're maybe not as at the top of your game as you think. So you might be feeling like you're really wise and you really have everything figured out in your relationship, in where you're heading, what you're focusing on, but that might be shifting and changing. You might be getting a bit of a reality check this month, and kind of wisdom in that way, like regaining wisdom. Wisdom comes from experience. So if someone's at the top of their game, they kind of have to be knocked down a little bit to remind themselves of the wisdom that they're going to grow in, and to remind yourself that you still have room to grow. So that's really what I'm getting here, is that yes, you may have reached a really tall height with someone, you may have gotten very close with someone, but that doesn't mean you know everything about them. It doesn't mean that there aren't going to be things that you're still learning and growing and having to understand and sort of what is it called, like cross correct, that's not the word, but basically just sort of counterbalance things back out. So that's what I'm seeing here with the owl and hop, and that's what's going to be kind of on your side this month, is that yes, you're going to have to learn some new things, but you're also going to be gaining a lot of experience throughout it that's going to be really helpful long term. So let's go ahead and look a little bit further. So seeing as you have so much relationship energy, we're going to be looking, as I always do for these monthly videos, we're going to look into a specific message coming through for the collective here for a relationship advice message. So this can be any relationship, as I mentioned, platonic, familial, with spirit, yourself, friendships, with romantic relationships, however you see it. But do feel free to send that energy in. So here we go, group. This upside down group 2 here. What do you have coming through? So you have cooperation. Interesting. So it says cooperation, take the hand offered or ask. So whenever I see this one too, and it's giving me again that same feeling that there might be just something that you have to sort of correct, that's definitely not the word, I don't feel like, but it's like counterbalance. There's just something that like you guys need to come together and collaborate on, you need to cooperate on, there's like, you know, this feeling of like people can't read your mind. Maybe you feel like everybody knows what you need, what your needs are, because you're so close with someone, but that doesn't mean they always know all of the information. People can be clueless sometimes, people can be unaware sometimes, and we need to give people that benefit of the doubt. So there's just this feeling too that like, yes, you may know all of the answers, but that doesn't mean they know all of the answers. That doesn't mean they're at the same level you are, or vice versa. There's this balancing. So I do see that coming through for you guys, and kind of creating more clear communication, and that comes from being honest and just showcasing how you're seeing things from your side, how they're seeing things from their side, and coming together to sort of understand the holistic view of the situation versus just one side of it. And if it is about like maybe wanting to reach out to someone for a romantic relationship or something on that end, if you're not with someone, it can also be just that you, again, they're not going to maybe know your feelings until you put it out there, right? So that's also coming through. So the next one that we're going to be doing here is to showcase your Libra season messages. So these ones are going to be specific to Libra season, which is most of October. So we're going to be looking into first a message of what it is that you're going to be releasing, and then something that you're going to be embracing to kind of balance things back out, like the scales of Libra. So let's go ahead and see what that is for you. So first, what it is that you are releasing so that you can make room to embrace something new. So what is that for you? What are you releasing this specific month of October with Libra season? Okay, so we ended up having sort of one hanging out on the bottom of the deck, and then on the top of the deck, and then the one that flew. So we have the High Priestess over here, and what it is that you are releasing, and what you're embracing over here is the Page of Swords. So with the High Priestess usually showcases sort of, again, having all their facts in order, or they're constantly trying to gain new information, both from spirit, from, the nonverbals, the subliminals. It's also making me think that like maybe you're constantly having people read the subtext of the things that you're kind of putting out there. So passive aggression, things like that. So those are the things that you might be releasing, is the idea that things have to be communicated so sort of slyly or passively, or even just through that subtext of things underneath your words, right? We don't want people to have to read the footnotes, or you have to read the footnotes at the end of the article, or the little tiny print at the bottom of the box, right? Things should be more direct than that. And so I feel like what you might be releasing is the idea that your communication has to be so full of subtext, so full of passive, little tiny moments. If this is about like maybe not having someone pick up on your feelings either, that can also showcase in that same way. But then you have the Page of Swords here, and the Page of Swords alongside, right next to, especially this Knight, is the idea again that you don't have all the answers. So what you're embracing is that you don't have all the answers, and a feeling to seek out those answers. So what you're seeking out is having more clear communication, having things come through more clearly, because there is missing information, subtext information, that passive aggression. Sorry, I'm recovering from a cold, so my voice is a little weird, but there's just that feeling that they can't read your mind and you can't read theirs, so that cooperation is coming through. And also, if it is about, like, again, wanting to get out as a social butterfly too, like I was feeling at the very beginning, or that feeling of wanting to help out others, being a patron or something like that, the things you might be embracing too is just researching and really looking and putting in that time, because the page is all about sort of being that student of life. And so that's what's coming through for you, is just being a bit more of a student of life versus feeling like you're the master of it, or you have everything figured out, or that you think that other people should know that. So these are your messages so far, but we are going to follow up with a watercolor affirmation, and we will be ending off your reading with the charms here. But if you have enjoyed this reading so far, it would be super useful and helpful for this channel, and feeding the YouTube algorithm, as we would say, although it is what it is. Do feel free to send in a like to this video if you've been enjoying it. I really do appreciate it. And also let me know in the comments down below not only how this has been resonating for you, but I mentioned also in group 1, I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you'd like to see this spooky month. It doesn't always have to be readings, so if you guys are interested in seeing more about like the specific decks that I own, or going into the charms more specifically, or into my own magical practice as we move into this spooky month, I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. And you guys can check out what others have written if you're interested as well, and let me know, because your feedback is super useful, and I want to create things that you guys are interested in. So if that's outside of just readings, do let me know. But if there are certain like spiritual readings you'd love to see, and spooky ones this month, I'd be into it too. So feel free to let me know. And a long-winded way of saying feedback helps. And we're going to go ahead and look at your affirmation. So for the month of October, let's see. So we have let go of hate. So there is this resentment feeling that I was feeling throughout this. Like I said, that passive aggression sometimes comes from resentment. You're wanting people to read your mind, wanting them to know how you're feeling and why you feel this way. And it keeps happening and nothing's changing. So there is something about needing to release that. And the only way to release some of that hate is to either notice where it's coming from within you as well as without, and see where you could make those changes so it doesn't continue to happen. And sometimes that, like I said, comes from being more direct. This also is like a great way to remind you not to maybe doom scroll for those of you who might be doing that. Just another affirmation, or guidance message rather. So feel free to send your energy in through time and space, and we'll get your final little bits and bobs messages here for the month of October and Libra season. So group 2. Okay, not too many. I feel like I say that every time, but it's nice when there's not like a horde of them. So let's go ahead and see what you do have here though. Over here on the Page of Swords, which I said was about kind of getting out of your comfort zone in some way, or to be sort of that student of life, we have down here showcasing the Claddagh charm, and this usually represents love, friendship, and loyalty. And so it could be also that like you are very committed to what you've been learning and growing and moving in, and so this might be just another reminder to be committed to your growth in some way and embracing your growth in some way. And whatever that growth is for you, you're probably going to know what that is already if it's been showing up through here. Otherwise, I would definitely say it has a lot to do with just, again, that clear communication and learning how to communicate in a more useful way. We also have like directly hitting over here at the King of Wands head is the I always see this as being very clipped down to nostalgia. So it can be that you're just like, again, sort of feeding on the same information you've always had and continuing to not really change necessarily or get out of your box in some way, and that's being sort of directed at this King of Wands. So again, there's more territory, there's more to expand upon than what you've always known, and that's coming through. And then your last charm here, you got a key. I always think it's fun when you get keys. Keys usually represent opportunities, and your opportunity is a very lucky one, which means that it's like, not that it's a once in a lifetime opportunity necessarily, but it's just that it's gonna like feel very serendipitous, like, oh, of course that would happen, of course that would show up right now, and that's showing up here and pointing towards both the owl and the high priestess, which are very connected to the idea of our spirituality, of our psyche, of our intuition. So you might be feeling an opportunity on the horizon, and this might be showing up this month. So if you've been waiting on an opportunity, whether that's for growth, whether that's climbing a ladder, whether that's expanding in some way or focusing, whatever that feels like, there's just going to be this serendipitous moment that will probably come up this month, and to look out for that opportunity and to take it. So those are all of your cards and charms here. I hope you did enjoy this reading. As I mentioned, do feel free to give this video a like and let me know in the comments down below any ideas for the month and the things you'd like to see on this channel. This definitely is a two-way street, so I'd love to hear what you think. And also, if you are here and this is a new space for you, if you aren't subscribed already, I do put out new videos every single Monday for love, career, spirituality, these monthly readings, 2-week readings, and so much more. So do feel free to subscribe if you're interested and would like to be a part of this community. I'd love to have you here. And you can also check out, as always, the Kindred tip jar down below. It's a great way to support this space and to also have all of it will go right back into the channel, so you don't have to worry about that. And then also you can check out for other ways to support yourself and this space is through the snail mail readings, which I'll have listed down below, as well as the different supplies that I make for magical handmade spell and ritual paper, which I still have some autumn equinox paper that you can grab if you'd like. to use throughout the autumnal season. So with that all said, I do hope you enjoyed this reading. I do hope you got something out of it. So much gratitude and love to you all, and I wish you such a beautiful, spooky, magical month of October, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hello group 3, if you've decided to choose this specific little orange slice, then this is the pile for you. I'm going to set it down here so you can see it during your reading here today, as we are going to be using the charms, the watercolor affirmations, as well as several different oracle decks and 2 different tarot decks today. I felt called to using the Everyday Witch Tarot, of course. It's super spooky, super great for this season of this spooky season, at least here in the Northern Hemisphere, and happy spring to those in the Southern Hemisphere. But we're also going to be using the deck that my little sister made for me for Christmas. It's wonderful and perfect, and I love it so much. So we're going to be using that one here today as well. So let's go ahead and dive right on in. Let's go ahead and get right into it. As always, feel free to get cozy. Like I said, I'm already getting into the sweater weather. But if you guys want to get cozy too, feel free to get a cozy blanket, some, hot cocoa or something nice and lovely to eat. And we're going to go ahead and dive right in. So feel free to send your energy in through time and space, and we'll get started here for group 3, what you have coming in for the month of October. I felt called to this bottom card already. This one kept flying out as I was getting everything ready to go, so again, not surprised this one came through. We have the Queen of Pentacles here. She has this whole little community of little cats at her feet that I feel really called to, this nurturing energy, almost a bit of like a mom that's, or parent rather, who's constantly being like, hello, I'm trying to get your attention, and they're just sort of like, okay. So I do feel this weird energy of like someone trying to get your attention, and maybe you're kind of over it. For those who that doesn't resonate with, feel free to leave it. But we're going to go ahead and seek out your other 2 messages of the main energies coming in for the month. We're also, like I said, going to look into Libra season messages as well, so do stay tuned for those. But let's see. We have that Queen of Pentacles, but what else is coming through? Goodness. Here we go. Let's see what this is. We've got 2 of them here. We have the 9 of Wands and the 10 of Pentacles. Really interesting because you have sort of both them showing up in 2 different ways, right? You've got the same figure showing up twice, so that would be really interesting to read into as well. But we also have the 9 of Wands, and the 9 of Wands usually showcases sort of, in this specific deck, burnout, or feeling like you're backed up against a wall, or you're feeling like you need to ward yourself off from something, protect yourself from something. There's this feeling of protection, warding, and sort of like trying to stay where things are easy and breezy and comforting. So there is this feeling of getting out of your comfort zone, but maybe not feeling like this is the time to do it because you might be feeling a little burnt out. So it's maybe not the time to get out of your comfort zone, but it isn't like you can't continue to think ahead, or that's entirely outside of your zone, but just like maybe grounding back down, letting your energy settle a little bit this month. If you maybe come out of a month that feels super like you just came through like a whirlwind of a month, it's okay to like chill out a little bit and then get out of your comfort zone later in the month. It's not something you have to completely let go of, that idea, but there is that coming in, maybe that idea that you just kind of need a little space for a little while. Like I was thinking with that Queen of Pentacles, there's that feeling of like, just maybe the comfort zone is okay for you right now. It's okay. You don't always have to push yourself so far. So there's that feeling. And then with the 10 of Pentacles right next to it, like I said, it's just showcasing more of that energy of feeling like you maybe want to be on all the time, right? Like you've got a smile on, you're charismatic, you're talking to everyone, it makes me think of, like, for me personally, I absolutely love my birthday, don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, it's been very exhausting to be sort of like the center of attention all day, or be like the top energy for everyone. So maybe you've just come out of a birthday, or you've been around a lot of people with birthdays, or even outside of birthday ideas, just the idea that you were the center of attention, you were the top dog, you were the top person in the room to get all of the answers and the questions and all of the things. And you just need a little bit of vacation, a little bit of time off. So if you can do that this month, definitely feel free to. And maybe what you're getting out of your comfort zone is just the things that you're doing for yourself and not for others, because I do think that you've been giving and giving and giving and giving and giving and not really giving enough back to yourself, or not refilling your cup, or just allowing yourself to like take a shower, get some sleep, all of that kind of thing. So that's what I'm seeing here so far, but we're going to go ahead and look at your other cards, of course. So we are going to be using a new deck, which I'm so excited for. This is the Woodland Wardens Oracle. It showcases both a flora and fauna message on each card, which I love to see how those come together as a nature lover myself. But these Woodland Wardens are going to be coming through to showcase your blessing for the month. So this usually is just a very positive card or a transformative card, but it can be a blessing from spirit, or you could see it as a tool in your tool belt for the month, or you can even see it just as like an energy that's most in your favor, in your corner this month. But we're going to see what that is for you. So let's see, group 3. Feel free as always to send your energy in. And we're going to look here. What did you get? So we have here nice. So we have the porcupine and the anemone, or anemone, I believe. It says here boundaries. And so that's your flower or floral message, and then your specific message here from porcupine with boundaries. And like I said, we had that 9 of Wands, that feeling of that pushback, that boundary you're putting out there, that you're kind of letting people know, I need space, I need time. So that's what's going to be really helpful and in your corner. And that's what I was getting right from the start, is that feeling of like, again, needing a little space for yourself. And that means making space. So you need to put out those boundaries with people and make space. Tell someone, like tell your partner, tell the people around you, tell your family members, I need space, I need a break, I need a breath. And so that's what's coming through here. But because this is a new deck to me and to you, I thought it would be really fun to pull out the guidebook. So you could skip this if you're not interested, but I do think that it always has like some really lovely nuggets of information, especially this one. So do feel free to stay for it if you're interested. But then we'll be looking into your other messages. But here it is in case you want to pause. But I am going to go ahead and read it as well to you, or at least the upright version. So here we are. It is the number 38, I believe, and it says here, the porcupine, with its impressive quills, it is a well-known symbol of self-defense. According to a legend among I am not going to try to say it, but it's a certain tribe of people, the porcupine got its quills by placing the branches of a hawthorn tree on its back, defending itself against the bear. There is also a trickster spirit in a specific myth that also saw the porcupine's cleverness and fashioned it as a coat of quills to wear from then on. Just as the porcupine curls into a ball to defend itself from predators, the flower also turns inward and down during rainstorms, protecting its delicate petals from damage. So, for the upright version, it says here, you cannot help others unless you first help yourself. Maintain healthy boundaries around your time, energy, giving generously only once you are sufficiently fed. So it says here, how can I ensure that my needs are met? Have I established healthy boundaries around my time and energy? And do I respect the boundaries of others? So that's what's coming through immediately and fully, is that, again, that idea of boundaries showing up. So that's what we have here. I don't want to overcomplicate this card and just showcase that, again, you need that space, you need that time, and you need to also respect other boundaries. I found that really interesting at the end. But that's what we have here for this specific message of the porcupine and the anemone. Let's go ahead and look a little bit further and take a little break from the main energies and look at an energy coming in for the relationship message in your life. So this is going to be a relationship message for the collective, but do feel free to send the energy of the advice or guidance that you're wanting to get for a specific relationship in your life if you'd like to. So this could be a friend, a family member, this could be with a child, or with a spirit of some sort, or even with yourself. It can also be a romantic message, but let's go ahead and see what that message is coming through for a specific relationship card for the collective for group 3 here for the month of October. For the month of October here, group 3, the month of October relationship card. Okay, Fast and Furious here. We have the Azalea, and it says temperance, find balance and be centered. So very much a Libra season message, of course. We're about to look into your Libra season messages of balance. But for this, it's just about balancing things back out. Temperance also isn't necessarily that everything's always perfectly in balance, but that there's a constant mixing and a flow and an ebb and a flow with the people in your life too. And so allowing other people to take on a little bit more could be useful, because right now you're kind of overtaking that. And so the more we have those waves, right, if we have that ebb and flow, if things are continuing in flow, then it kind of stays together and everyone stays afloat. But if you take on too much, the waves get much bigger for everyone else. So this is just kind of tempering things back down to create that balance for you and someone else in your life right now, and trying to find a better flow between you two, or between multiple people. So we're going to look into more about balance here with your Libra season messages. So for this, we're going to be using the deck that my sister made. We call this the Goober deck, or the Star Sister Tarot. And we're going to seek out the messages of what to release this month for the Libra season, and also what to release for the Libra season what to embrace rather for Libra season. So something to release and embrace. So let's go ahead and see what it is that you're releasing to kind of balance things back out. What is it that you are releasing here? Group 3, what is it that you're releasing this Libra season? What is it that you're releasing this Libra season? Group 3. Okay, so I felt called to this one. So we have the 7 of Pentacles there. We also had the 2 of Swords next to it as well, in case that shows up for anyone. But we're also going to go ahead and put these packed together, and we'll also pull another card for what it is that you are embracing, and see how those come together. Interesting that you had another 7. Lots of 7s. This is also the seventh zodiac in the zodiac. So for Libra. So interestingly, okay, and of course what it is that you're embracing is temperance here. Very on point, you guys. Of course, we already have that temperance energy coming up 2 different ways. So again, tempering things out, and we even have that showing up here in the specific wave. Thank you to my sister for that specific idea, right? So that's coming in for each of your cards. So with the 7 of Pentacles, since we already know a lot about what you're embracing here with temperance, and I've already spoke a lot on it, what you might be releasing is the idea that your needs have to come last. And the reason why I think about that is whenever I see the 7 of Pentacles, it usually showcases someone sort of like kind of stagnant, like their stuff has come to an end, or the end of the road kind of feeling, even though there's still more to get done. It's like things that are just about to come to harvest or just about to finish, but you get kind of like cut off, or things you're just having to wait around for something. Things have become very stagnant. So what it is that you're releasing is the idea that your needs have to come last, or your needs need to be put farther down the peg of lists, or farther down the list. So your needs are important. Your needs are useful, right? You can't take care of someone. You can't help someone if you are last on your list, right? If they're always coming first, then you're going to slowly burn out. You're slowly going to lose all of the energy that you have to nurture the people that you love, right? As well as yourself. So it's not out of a place that comes from selfishness. It's actually to help the whole. If you were worried about that, if you felt like maybe you were being a bit selfish or, taking up too much of your time, helping the whole of that system of people is more important than just helping one individual, right? We all have to work together. It is that ebb and flow. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and move on to your final card here with an affirmation, and then we're also going to be pulling those bits and bobs details here in a minute. If you have been enjoying this reading so far, though, do be sure to give this video a like. It really helps this channel to grow and to flourish and to nurture it. So I do really appreciate those who have. And also let me know in the comments down below. I mentioned this in the other video, other readings as well. Do let me know what you'd like to see this spooky month. I always do a lot of readings on this channel, but if you guys would be interested in other things, if you're interested in the different charms, if you'd like me to teach you about charms or teach you more about tarot, or if you'd be interested in, what you'd like to see for other types of readings, for magical readings, spiritual readings, other things that I've done before, or things you'd like to see in the future, do let me know. Feedback is highly appreciated. So all of that will be down below for comments, but we're going to go ahead and pull you an affirmation. So we have mindset is key. Mindset is key as your message here, and it has this little key. It's one of those like old keys. So I always see this as reminding yourself that your mindset that you move through and changing your mindset, seeing from new perspectives, is what can help temper that out for you as well. And just reminding yourself that going into something from a mindset of like, oh, I need to put myself last is going to put you last. But putting yourself first, or putting yourself a little bit higher up that list, could be really useful to you, and changing your mindset to create the actions that you do, right? Actions come from the things that we think of, right? And sometimes this queen acts without thinking it through. They think it through kind of later. So that might be useful to you, is to just change your mindset a little bit, take a little step back. So let's go ahead and seek out the final messages here from the bits and bobs, little details. So feel free to send in your energy and we will pull out some charms. So here we go, October and Libra season for group 3. Okay, so we have a few just flying around here, so I just put them back on the map here. So let me zoom this in. So here we are. The things that I'm seeing here is, again, that stagnation of things being very slow growth for you, because here we have the cactus, which is all about longevity for the long haul, and the way that we sustain ourselves during a long road trip, a long journey, is to make sure that we're looking after ourselves, right? Sometimes in short little jaunts and short little journeys, we don't always have to have the best bed, the best meal, the best this, and we'll recover later on, right? We have time to recover later on. But you've maybe been doing this for so long that you maybe have even forgotten how much you need nourishment, need time to sleep, need time to take care of yourself in some way. So that's coming through again. More on that mindset is key with flourishing. And so again, a new little idea, flourishing in your mind, that could be really useful to you this month. It looks really cute as this little flower. And then we have the garbage charm. That's what I always call this, or the trash, or just things that feel very, kind of just being wasted, or wasteful energy. And so what we have here is the trash charm. It's a little like gum wrapper, and so it makes me think also of the gum on the bottom of your shoes. So again, this energy of sort of feeling warded off, not that it isn't useful to you, but the idea of the burnout that you're getting because you're not giving yourself those boundaries is kind of creating that buildup within you and sort of clogging your system. Here on Temperance, we have the romantic charm. Whenever I see this, it's like red roses. So if you watched pile number 1, we actually got red roses for the relationship message, so that might be a nod to that. But For those of you here just on this one, the red roses can showcase that courageous feeling or being more courageous and having the courage to embrace this could be really useful to you. We have the mistletoe showing up here on the 10 of Pentacles. Mistletoe, as beautiful as it is, also likes to grow in trees and sort of steal from the tree. It can really harm a tree because of the way that they grow. So there is again that idea of like a vine or something kind of squelching your growth. And so it's not that the people in your life aren't worth putting first. It's just again that it's a holistic view that you also matter within that group. We also have the letter L showing up here in case that gives you a little bit of indication here towards that relationship message of temperance. And then over here we also had the hope charm. So this always looks like a little honey pot as well to me. It makes me think of Winnie the Pooh honey pot. So again, also that your needs are not only something to put action to and not just hope that you can have it, but actually actively trying for it. But also again, like the idea of honey being something that never goes bad. So I feel like you've just been keep thinking that like your needs can be put last because it'll never go bad, it'll never expire, but eventually they are useful and they are needed. And so again, that mindset might be changing. So those are all of your charms and cards here. I'll go ahead and zoom you out so you can see a little bit better for the holistic view as we've been talking about that here. Your main words as a recap, just again, is like temperance, balance, the idea of really putting yourself first, and the idea of knowing that your needs matter for the holistic point of view. So if this has resonated though for you, do be sure, as I mentioned, to give this video a like. I really would appreciate any feedback down below on where you'd like to see this channel go and the different things you'd like to see. And also, if you are interested in being here even further, if maybe this is one of your very first videos, do feel free to subscribe as I put out new videos every single Monday. And I'd love to see you here in the future, or what you'd even be interested in seeing. But if you feel called, you can also check out the Kindred tip jar down below. It's a great way to support the space, and everything that I gather in there goes straight back to the channel for new decks and supplies, some of which are on their way. I'm so excited. So do be sure to check that out, as well as the snail mail readings and other fun offerings that I have down below for handmade spell and ritual papers. So all of that will be down below if you're interested in a private reading or things like that, or interested in more magical goods. And I hope that you have a magical, fun, spooky, exciting autumn or spring season as we head into this month. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.